Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. Let's talk. We need to have this conversation. We need to address it. And there are things I need to address. And it's only fitting now with what's going on in our world that I address this. So we're going to put on some makeup and we're going to talk. I'm not going to mention everything I'm putting on. I will put everything, all the makeup I'm putting on today, I will put in the bottom of the description box. So let's talk. Got my mirror. We're going to talk. I have to head out, drop my daughter off at school, head out to work. I leave early today, take care of some family stuff. So let's get into this conversation. Do my E.L.F. makeup primer. We all have seen the last few days what's happened with the death of George Floyd. And I said this to my kids, and I'm just gonna, I believe I mentioned this to my husband, and I'm gonna mention it here. For me, first of all, we know, flat out, George Floyd was murdered by the police with a knee on his neck. We know this. Myself, as an African American, I'm not stupid. I know how that man died. We all saw with our own eyes how this man died. We saw it. And the other three, they were right there. All four of them murdered George Floyd. All of them. But to only charge one, and then you charge that one with third-degree murder? It's bullshit. It was intentional murder. That man was murdered because of the color of his skin. This ain't nothing new. This is nothing new. The reason why it's now being brought to the forefront is because you had several people with cameras recording. But here's what I don't, it would kind of, gets on my nerve. You had the other cameras rolling. Police officers got away with it. Just a few short years ago here, my home city, Baton Rouge, Louisiana, we had to deal with the Alton Sterling case. I remember that. I still remember that. Where Alton Sterling was murdered, yes, he was murdered by police officers with Baton Rouge police. Again, they got away with it. They're trying to say, oh, he resisted arrest and this and that and the other. You missed me with that. You murdered Alton Sterling. Where he was murdered was a convenience store I used to go into a lot back when I was dating my daughter's father at the time. I mean, I was always in the area. I was always in that convenience store. Always. He was always there. So I know that area very, very well, where Alton Sterling was murdered. And I'm not saying killed. No, he was murdered. I mean, we don't need to sugarcoat it. He was murdered. The outrage, the protests, everything. It's going on now. But now on a bigger scale. Because not only was it recorded, you have white folks that paid attention, that saw, get off his neck. And the reason why I find this so sad is because we have been trying to tell our white counterparts for years and years and years and years and years and years. This was going on. They didn't believe it. But now that they saw with their own eyes, they're woke. Let me say this. You should have been woke for years. What really brings us in the forefront even more so, look who our damn president is. Look who the president is. Our president is the reason why a lot of this stuff has escalated. Our president is the reason that we have continuous ongoing racism and growing racism. The racism has always been there. It's just escalated even more so because of his ass. I have to talk to my kids. And my kids are our age. They are. But deep down, I think, particularly my son, is realizing this is why I protect you from this. I protect you for that. You want to go here, you want to go there. I don't want you to. Here's why. The color of your skin. The neighborhood we live in. I remember when we first moved in this neighborhood. We've been here 2 years. And he goes, you know, from time to time, he likes to play basketball. There's a basketball hoop just down the street. And the family with the hoop, they're white. Well, that white family accused my son of flattening a basketball. Because the mother said, yeah, I saw Kendrick. Kendrick was outside with the ball, and I saw him do it. When it wasn't my son. And on the day she saw him do it, I was still trying to figure out how he can be at two places at one time, because at the very time she said Kendrick did it, Kendrick was at a doctor's appointment with me. But of course, she needed somebody to accuse, so let's accuse the black boy. With George Floyd. With so-called bad checks or whatever. Did you have to kill him for it? Do your investigation. Check into it. Did you have to kill him? No. Again, an excuse. People give excuses. Racism has always been in this country. It's been in this country for years. We're not dumb. We're not blind to it. It's always been there. And it's now, again, being brought to the forefront because of video. And then, in the midst of all of this going on, we see, oh, this infuriated me and my husband, even more so. We are watching CNN live on television reporting. You have a white reporter, you have a black reporter. The white reporter from CNN. Police look at his credentials. He's good. No problem. But the black reporter, also with CNN, same network, same credentialing, he gets arrested. And what boggled my mind was, they're like on air, live on air, oh my God, I can't believe this is happening. This is happening right before our eyes. We don't understand why it's happening. I flat out was like, don't play dumb. We know why this is happening. They're arresting him because of the color of his skin. Nothing else. It played out on live television of why there is such mistrust between African Americans and the police. It played out on live television. I really feel with that arrest was finally the additional wake-up call needed for our white counterparts. He's on live television being arrested. Live television. Live television. But you don't touch the white reporter from the same network that's a block away. You don't touch him. But the same credentialing. The same credentialing. This is exactly what I'm talking about. This is exactly what we're talking about. I have been battling personally racism for the last 3-4 years on my job. I've been battling it. And I know some of them on my job watch my videos, but I'm not holding my tongue no more. I'm not. My former supervisor, and I've mentioned this on my channel a few times about my former supervisor. Let me tell you about my former supervisor. Because with everything that's going on in the world right now, it needs to be said. It needs to be said out loud. I mean, come on now. Racism has always been here. It's always been here. Always. It's always been here. My former supervisor got her high ranking position because she was white. Flat out. She didn't qualify for the job. Anything like that. The previous person that was higher than her, that put her in that position, didn't want another black person running the section. Let's be real. What angers me about that even more so is my former supervisor still has a job. This is after a lawsuit was filed. Everything. She still has a job. What they did was they demoted her. They only demoted her because of the lawsuit. She's only been moved from one section to another section because of lawsuit. But she's been walking around, well, I'm about to retire in a few months, so I just wanted to live, last few months of here, because I just didn't want to work over there in that position anymore. No, let's be real. You got busted for being in a position because you're white. And there was a lawsuit. But you'll swear to God, it's your upcoming retirement is the reason why you're in that demoted position. You have a problem with people of color. I know it'll be, well, y'all in the section and y'all are black. Let me tell y'all something. She did that to look good. I'm in my current position because she thought it would shut me up. And the big difference between my position and hers was I made sure and I verified that I even qualified for my position, which I do. And since being in my current position, I qualify for higher. And it's because it's being done the right way, not because of the color of my skin. Which, by the way, because of the color of my skin, I probably would not, I wouldn't even go that far. I've had to deal with racism for a long time. In the section I'm in right now, I've been there 6 years. The person that was running the section, she was African American. Based a lot of people that were in the management positions, they were all African American. Except one. But everybody got along. Yeah, she was a pain. Don't get me wrong. Pain in my ass. That's for sure. But guess what? At the end of the day, she got the job done. There were no problems, no issues. When we would have audits, there were never a problem. And we could back our shit up. No problem. The problem came when the new administration came in. And when the new administration came in, there were the problems. There was the beginning of racism. In the end, what ended up happening was the new person that took over the entire section, she had a problem with people of color. She had a problem with blacks. She didn't want a black person running the section. And how it started was a position being posted. Position vacated by another African American woman. Another African American. The position was posted the first time. And at the time, our person that was black that was running it had the position posted. We pretty much knew who was going to get it, which was another African American. And she would qualify for the position. We knew she was going to get it. What happened was our person, the African American, she got sick and out on sick leave for quite a long time. I mean, because when she came back, even when she tried to come back, she didn't look good. Like, oh my God, I don't want what she had. And it was serious what she had. What she had was serious. Very, very, very serious. And during that time period, the position ended when it was posted. And when it ended, when the position ended, the new white person wanted it reposted again. Mind you, people that applied for the position, particularly two people that applied for the position, both African American women, both very qualified African American women, applied. They were told that the position was going to be posted again. So they reapplied. So they posted a position again. Both of those qualified African American women applied for the position. Position closed. By this time, my now former supervisor went running into the white woman office, complaining she didn't apply for the position. She wanted to apply for the position, knowing damn well her ass didn't qualify for that position. She knew she didn't qualify. She was nowhere near. But they worked out a plan for her to get the job that they both knew she nowhere near qualified for. So what they did was, what she did, all this was done while our other person, black, was out on medical leave. They posted the position for a third time. Made it in-house. So this my now former supervisor could get the job. So when we saw it posted a third time, we knew then. Us black folk knew then. Oh, she gonna get that job. She been in cahoots. And sure enough, when the position ended, my now former supervisor, an unqualified white woman, got the job. So, she thought, because she became the supervisor running the election, she was going to run these black women and have them do all her work. They said, no. You got this job the wrong way. We're not going to show you how to do this, 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 and this. We're not going to show you. Well, because of it, these women were demoted. By this time, our black person, higher up, came back from medical leave. And when she found out what happened, she filed a complaint. But first of all, she had to talk with her and asked her a bunch of questions. You know this, you know this, you know this, you know this, you know this. She said no. Her with the other two said, well, you finna figure it out on your own. You're about to figure this out on your own. We're not going to help you. Because they all knew she didn't qualify. They all knew, we all knew, she's only there because of the color of her skin. She's white. They didn't want another black person in the position. So what ended up happening was not only were those women demoted, and I mean massive demotions, and another person that was also in a management position that really had nothing to do with it, also African American, got caught up in the midst of the storm. He got demoted as well. He was simply demoted because of the color of his skin, being black. Which is why, and I know y'all trying to wonder, well, what does this have to do with George Floyd? This is racism that has been going on for years and years and years and years and years. It still goes on. Right now, as we speak, right now on my job, and I'm still there, there's still racism going on. So miss me with you're just now you're waking up. It's been there. We've said it. You just ignored it. So what ended up happening with that was when those ladies got demoted, they all left. And they filed a lawsuit. That lawsuit was recently settled. And because of the settlement, and I mean, it was huge, huge proof. And it was definitely proven that there was definite racism. Definite, she was put in a position because she was white. Didn't qualify or anything. She was only there because she's white. And it's so sad that right now, that person that should actually be fired still has a job. Why? Because you have the other white counterparts protecting this white woman that has no business being there. And the mess she has caused in our section, and we're still cleaning this mess up. Now, it pisses me off because I'm the person getting the blame for all of this now. I mean, you got to blame Venetia for it. She's been there 6 years. It's her fault. No, it's not. But, of course, you don't want to blame that white woman that was the cause of it. The unqualified white woman. You don't want to, upset her. It's a problem. It's a big problem. And it's not like it just happened. It's been there. So if it wasn't for the videotape, if it wasn't for the video cameras, they would have dummied up something against George Floyd. They would have said something completely different regarding George Floyd. Just like they did with the others. And there was, again, videotape. They got off. And then in the midst of all of this, we're in the middle of a pandemic. We still have coronavirus going on. Still have coronavirus. But more and more of that coronavirus is getting, less and less as a forefront. And reason being is because of this. And coronavirus is, again, killing more and more African Americans. So we're not susceptible, we don't have the same accesses to health care as our, again, white counterparts. And you have a president that ain't doing nothing about it. That could have, prevented and did a lot of preventive measures long time ago. He chose to ignore it. He knows this pandemic is killing black people. Don't think he don't. He knows. Why he's not doing anything about it. So you can sit there and say, no, that's not it. Underliking it. Though, again, could have been prevented a long time ago. A lot of measures could have been done a long time ago. This man out warning a long time ago about this pandemic coming. He did nothing. He did nothing. And with what's going on with George Floyd, he needs to shut up. Because all he's doing is making the situation worse. He's really making the situation worse. The best thing for him to do is shut the hell up. Because you're not a real leader. We need a leader. You're not a leader. You're not. We need a leader. And going back to my point with my job, they blaming me for a whole bunch of stuff now. And now my new supervisor, also white, I don't know, I guess they just didn't want no black person. Still. I am really starting to see that I really feel she has a problem with black people. Still. We're still dealing with this. You can't sit there. And this is and this is dealing with an incident very recent that I find racist. There's incidents that's going on with a couple of our things there. And when she was discussing it and I thought about it, I was like, I think I know what's going on. And if this is the case, which I'm about 99% sure this is the case, my person, one of my staff members, was not given all of the information that was needed to make it right. I've said this a few times. She's stuck on, oh, well, she's just making too many mistakes. No. She wasn't given the information. No, she's just making too many mistakes. No. She can't make a mistake if she doesn't have the information. Again, to me, you're once again protecting this white woman that had no business being in a position that caused all of these problems, but you want to look at the black person that has to put the information in. And who has to give her the information? That white woman. That white woman that you, once again, are protecting. You don't want to talk to my other staff members. You want me to do it. Because for some reason, you're intimidated by these black women. You're intimidated by these black women because these are black women, I again said before, they've been hurt by my former supervisor. They've been thrown under the bus by my former supervisor. Why? Color of their skin. Color of their skin. And you still protect this white woman. You still go to bat for this white woman. It's racism. Racism we've been dealing with for years, for centuries. Because at the end of the day, you don't want no harm to the white woman. You don't want no harm to the white officers. You just don't want no harm. You want no harm. You don't want any problems. It's not going to be problems. It's not problems when you work together. It's problems when you don't work together. It's problems when you're blind to the situation. It's problems when you ignore what's going on. It's going to forever be problems. To this day, right now, I still have problems because of the color of my skin. What is wrong with the color of my skin? What is wrong that you can't address me the same way you address the white counterparts? What's wrong with me? Why you cannot address my other staff members the same way you address your white counterpart? And then it's double hard for myself and members of my staff because not only are we African American, we're women. So of course, you know there's an even bigger problem with black women. You're intimidated by us. You feel that we're problematic. You label us. We're what you call the big mouths, the loud mouths. No, what you don't like is how you're doing things is bullshit. How you're doing things is wrong. You're not coming just like your equal white counterpart, and you're not coming to us equally. George Floyd didn't get that opportunity. He was just flat out just outcasted because of the color of his skin. This man was murdered by the police because of the color of his skin. Alton Sterling here in Baton Rouge was murdered because of the color of his skin. Trayvon Martin was murdered because of the color of his skin. Tamir Rice was murdered because of the color of his skin. Sandra Bland, murdered, color of his skin, color of her skin. Breonna Taylor, murdered because of the color of her skin. I'm not just mentioning my situation and all the names I've mentioned, and there's so many more names. It's because of the color of our skin. It is the color of our skin. I have to talk to my daughter and my son every day. We've been having this discussion every single day since the death of George Floyd. We've had this discussion every single day. I fear for my son even more so. He's black and he's young. I fear for my stepson. He's black, he's young. I feel for my daughters. They're black, they're young. I fear for the women on my job because they're black. We're all young. I fear for my husband even more so He's an African American man who works security at a hospital. And because of how he's dressed in a uniform, you can get people that are take him as a police officer and do harm to him because he's wearing the uniform. And my husband is just as angry, if not angrier, as what's going on. So all of my white counterparts, you need to stand up. Just trying to enjoy the black culture, you miss me with that. What are you going to do? What are you going to do? Don't just participate in a march because you just see it. Mean it. Mean it. For the person, this black woman that used to be part of my staff, who's gone, because my former white supervisor promised you my job in exchange of getting me fired or demoted because I knew how she got her job. How do you feel right now? How do you feel that my former supervisor, in your face, had a position open, told y'all to apply, when the rest of us knew she already had her white person picked, but you sat there disappointed that you didn't get it, when the, once again, inexperienced little white girl gets the job instead of the experienced black women? How do you feel? So yeah, I said it out loud. That young lady's in that position because, again, color of her skin. So I need you all to wake up. If you're not woke by now. Because now we see you. We're paying attention to you. We've been watching. I've been watching. My husband's been watching for years. On my job, I've been watching. I hope you wake up and realize just because we're black doesn't mean we bite. Just because we're black doesn't mean that you need to fear us. You need to fear us if we're speaking the truth. And that's what y'all don't like to hear, is the truth. Like on my job, you don't want to hear the truth that former supervisor of mine, who's white, destroyed a whole section. Destroyed it. And you're looking at me, the black person, that was the cause of destroying the section, but not the unqualified white woman. You're looking at me, black person, who can't control her staff, the other black women, when instead these are black women that have been hurt for years, who knows right from wrong, who stands by policy and procedure that was ignored. And now they're being blamed for the wrongdoing caused by a white woman. What do you say to George Floyd's family? What do you say to Alton Sterling's family? What do you say to Trayvon Martin's family? What do you say to Breonna Taylor's family? Sandra Bland's family? Tamir Rice's family? And then Michael Brown, what do you say to his family? Eric Garner, what do you say to his family? I love this lipstick. This is Mented, by the way. Very Mented. So that's it. It's my video. That is it. I'm not ranting. I'm not raving. I'm not doing any of that. But it was something that finally I needed to say. I needed to speak. I've endured racism long enough. We've all of us minorities, people of color, we have dealt with racism enough. We're sick and tired of the racism. We're sick and tired of being put in a category. We're sick and tired of just being sick and tired. And the sick and tired is being sick and tired of being sick and tired. This is enough. I've had enough. We've all had enough. And you really want to really make your voice heard even more so, go vote. Go vote. Vote that man out of office. You know damn well he has no business. Once again, unqualified. He's unqualified to be president of the United States, and he's in there destroying America, dividing America. More racism is being shown because of him. More and more and more. And with his rhetoric, it's giving white people the permission to be racist. He's giving white people the permission to do what they want to us people of color. I noticed it on my job the moment he became president and new administration came in. All of a sudden, it was okay to treat black people like nothing. It's okay to run over black people. It's okay to just talk to black people any kind of way. Oh, it's okay to even not talk to them equally. He's made it okay. George Floyd said, no, it's not okay. Alton Sterling said, no, it's not okay. Tamir Rice said, no, it's not okay. Trayvon Martin said, no, it's not okay. Eric Garner said, no, it's not okay. Sandra Bland said, no, it's not okay. What do you do? What do you do? This is my final makeup look. And I hope that I've enlightened you. I've said my piece. I've said what I've had to say. There's some people on my job that sees this and I get in trouble. Okay. If I'm getting in trouble, it's only because I'm speaking the truth. And you know what you're doing and what's still going on right now. It's underlying racism. I shouldn't say underlying racism. It's just flat out racism. It's racist what you're doing. And the racism needs to stop. With that being said, this is Venetia Alexander Marshall. I hope you have a great day.